And they were using the same prayers that they've been using for 1,200 years. And they were chanting their hymns and chanting their liturgy. And they had a young man, he looked like he was about 18 to 20 years old, and he was being baptized, confirmed that day, and they would move him. The priest would go from the one side to the next side, behind him, and then behind him again in exercise in the demons before baptism. And I was looking at those prayers knowing they went back all the way to the early church. It was interesting, this group was doing English, that group over there was doing Greek. Then I watched our crew go in. There were a lot of them doing this. And what our crew did, since they were all pastors, they were reaffirming their baptisms. Each one of them took turns in baptizing the other. And as they were doing that, part of what you would be paying for was the little group shot they would get you as you were going in. You know, it's kind of like going to King's Dominion or the Flume or whatever, or Disney World. They zap you with that re-baptism deal right there. Pretty cool. That was my experience of the River Jordan. Actually, it wasn't too long ago after I got back, they were suggesting nobody be baptized in the River Jordan anymore because the water's so dirty. Which is all to say that it is not the place where one is baptized that is important, nor is it about the water necessarily that is important, but it is the act of God in the church initiating you within the Christian faith. Whether you be sprinkled or poured or immersed, it is the Holy Spirit working in that act that brings you within the church. Now this morning you are seeing before you one baptism and confirmation. You may ask yourself, what is confirmation? Well, actually confirmation is the uniting of the sacrament of baptism. Our tradition baptizes our folks, whether they be an infant or whether they be a child or whether they be an adult. Now, not all traditions do that. But what the church understood very, very early on, probably about the 3rd or 4th century, that as they were baptizing, in those days the bishop always baptized, that what they opted to do was that they would begin their baptisms for infants and children. But they recognized those kids have to make a decision for themselves when they reach an age of maturity to say yes for Jesus. And so they divided the sacrament of baptism from the sacrament that you see most of the time here with the water, and then the confirmation was the act of the laying on of hands